These images are from my first trip to Spanish Sierra Nevada to visit High Mountain Culture Arc, Biblioteca del Sol, made by Belgian contemporary artist Louis de Cordier. The building itself is hidden underground. It's made of concrete and constructed to last for millennia. The building is an 8-meter diameter dome-shaped bunker surrounded by 4 book vaults. The vaults were created to separately contain knowledge about art, science, spirituality, and a seed collection.
The space had to have some kind of sacred element too, so that the design is not a pure functional one. It must be also kind of experience to enter the spaces, so that space itself becomes like contributing respect to what's being stored there. The dome is one of the most resistant structures. It has no corner, so therefore we went for the dome. And the concrete used is one of the highest quality concretes, very dense concretes. The layers are over 1 meter thick. Even with very strong earthquakes, might last for really thousands of years.
I came back to these mountains almost 1 year later. Only small things change here. The location of the library is safe due to the absence of volcanoes and nuclear power. The climate in the area is dry. The changes between temperature throughout the year is minimal, and it's isolated enough to keep out curious intruders. The area has remained almost unchanged for the past 900 years.
Now we are really deep in the mountains, 2,000 meter high, and they even say that this area, because it was so difficult to access, it became a little bit retarded, like behind the rest of the world. So at the time stood still here for many years. Like the main roads up here, just to enter the area, were only built late 60s.
The library is situated overlooking the Mediterranean Sea and the mountains of Africa. From the entrance tunnel of the library I can see a strange optical illusion. It looks like the sea level is above the mountains.
You're watching to a mountain range which is already high, and then you see ships sailing over the tops over these mountains, and it's really funny because you are not expecting such a thing. In wintertime you can also see the mountains of Africa from Morocco.
I made my third trip to these mountains almost 1 year later, in the late autumn. The old farmhouse next to the library was built around the 1600s. Nowadays, the house is inhabited by migrant workers and illegal aliens. They work in the red bean plantation on the mountainside. On the steep hills, the modern machines like tractors are useless. The only useful help are the donkeys, but even for the donkeys, the work is too hard during the hot summer days. The only living person I met on this trip was an old shepherd. The shepherds have lived their lives in this area for centuries. They go up on the mountains in the mornings with their flocks and come down to the valley for the night. The scenery around us represent the past, and Louis' library is looking to the future. The present time does not seem to exist.
Most people also ask always the same question, from which books do you save and which not? And asking the question, it looks like I am the one who is like deciding what's going to be saved and what's not going to be saved. The whole philosophy of the dome is to be more like a lighthouse, to create awareness of saving things. So therefore, we are open for everybody who wants to send in a book. So they just need to take the effort to take a book and send it here. So it's not that we or I decide what's going to survive or not. It's like a time gate in some way, a time capsule. So you can travel into time just by being in it. If you are sitting there, you just can transport yourself 2,000 years in the past and also 2,000 years in the future. So you can just imagine if you're walking out, that you walk in the Middle Ages or in deep future. Because also deep future can resemble maybe more as the Middle Ages. So you can also start reflecting on all these kind of things. So what I like also about this kind of long-term thinking, that you can think long-term in the future, but also in the past. So around 10,000 BC, we had a kind of very cold situation like we have in Scandinavia now. Lots of pine trees and snow. Then the Ice Age ended. But up here, because it's an island of altitude, those trees stayed because they were able to survive. And so there's like one tree up here, Estrella del Norte, and that's an Ice Age survivor.
It appears that the view from the other side of the mountain to the west is also a sea view, a blue, endless sea glittering in the sun. This sea is called Mar de Plastico, Sea of Plastic. It's a never-ending area of plastic greenhouses.
When I first saw it, I thought it was like a snow plane in the summertime from a distance. And it is also even altering the local climate up there because there's so much reflection. One of the things you really easily see from out of space. A plane covered kilometers on the biggest covered surface in the whole world. It's even easier to see that the Chinese wall or something.
There is a little village nearby. You can hear the church bells calling the Christians to an evening service. At the same time, on the basketball field, illegal aliens praying toward Mecca. On top of this mountain, 2,850 meters above sea level, the IRAM 30-meter single-dish radio telescope is located. It explores the depths of our universe, from the solar system to the Milky Way, up to the outer limits of our universe. It detects the furthest known black holes at the edge of the observable universe, and traces the cosmological radiation up to its source, the Big Bang. On my last trip, we tried to imagine the visions of the future.